Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Don't expand your business too quickly. Too quickly. Don't expand your business too quickly. In fact, and ironically, this was more of a spiritual type of teacher who said this. He said, when you expand your business, you should take 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. Just take your time. And I saw a great example of this a few years after he said that. And I'm not going to give the name of the business. I'll just say it was in the Maryland area. And I'll just say it was a New Age bookstore. It was a New Age bookstore. And it was small. And they expanded too quickly. They're out of business now. And the owners of it, they're doing something completely different. Now, they expanded because they had a connection with someone who came into a lot of money. And I'm not giving too many details because after a while somebody might say, actually check. Yeah, it could be a problem. And this ain't being disparaging of them, but it's something that I saw as a problem. It was a problem because, okay, they had the bookstore. And I pay attention to stuff. Whenever I go in a place, I pay attention to traffic and everything. They weren't getting traffic like that. I mean, they were decent. They had a decent crowd, but not to expand to the way they did. Like I said, someone with some money invested and expanded greatly. But the number of people in there didn't expand. And I knew why. They should have grown organically. At first, and they, like I said, they ended up going out of business. They couldn't, it was a whole lot of stuff, even some stuff outside of the business thing. But the thing was, they weren't ready to expand to the extent that they did. They couldn't fill up the extra space because their clientele didn't expand beyond what they had when they were a smaller store. What they should have did was only expand if the smaller store was just too crowded. They had room to. See, and they should have grown and grow it that way and then expand slowly. They didn't need to expand as far as they did. And see, the thing is, when you expand, you need to have the crowd come with you. And you should have it. Like, say you have a retail business. I talked about retail businesses yesterday. You have that retail business. Okay, pay attention. If it's a point where, you got extra long lines, you got to hire extra people, then expand. Maybe if you can expand the space, great. If you can get a second location, great. Like, you might have some restaurants that start off that way. Like there's a restaurant that I'll call the name of it. It's called Slutty Vegan, a vegan restaurant. They expanding like crazy. But I can see how that could happen. If you have such good food, people out the door, okay, get another location. And then even when you get the location, before you get another location, talk to, and I'm going to put a link for Slutty Vegan in the description box and give them a shout out. I've never ate there, but I've noticed when I first paid attention to them, they were just like one store. I was like, but all of a sudden it's like 5. I was like, okay, let me check that out. So I'll put a link to them. But here's the thing. If you're going to expand, like talk to people, like say, hey, where you from? Like, where you from? Where you coming from? Interact with the customers. That's part of the show anyway. Check out my video yesterday. You want to interact with them. It's like, oh yeah, I'm driving all the way over here. Oh, y'all coming from this area? Let me put something over here. But even then, it's slow. Like if you say you have a place that's a good restaurant, you don't expand to 10. If you have a bookstore, you don't only expand. A bookstore that was in existence back in the day, Caribou Bookstore. That was one of my best spots. At one point they had 6 stores, a black-owned bookstore. They didn't expand quick. They took their time. In fact, they started out as a vending, and they expanded. And there was some other stuff that was there that wasn't business related. I'll leave it at that. But that's how you do it. You take your time. you make sure there's some customer base there. Like if you're going to expand, make sure you got the customer base. Like I said, the basic thing is if the place you have is just too small, you got lines like crazy. Another place, Everlasting Elife restaurants in the DC area. They expanded. I know the owner, and if you follow me on IG, when I was doing summits in the DC area, I would always stop there and eat. Or if I gotta go to DC for anything, I'll stop there and eat. The 3 locations, but they expanded. They took their time because used to be when you went into one Elife restaurant, and I'll put a link for them as well. You go into one of them, the lines would be out the door. So that's how you expand. But see, you have that New Age bookstore example. They expanded way too quickly. They didn't have it, and I knew it. I saw it. It's like I don't have the people to fill this. And you would go there, and they had all this space. They had all this space. Even when they had large crowds, it was still not enough because they were putting other stuff in there. It was like, well, is there justification for it? See, sometimes you get some people, they expand and think that people are going to come. It don't work that way. Because first of all, any business is a community. You got to make sure you develop the community first. Don't have something big and think people are coming. You get some people, they have something huge. They'll have a huge business, huge space and all of that, but the people don't come. It's like, you got to establish that. You got to establish that first. And that's the important thing. You take your time. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Just build it slowly. Like a general rule, just build it slowly. Get to the point where you're forced to expand. I put it like this: you're forced to expand because you can't fit everybody in that space. And that's mainly for retail. But even if you're selling products, don't overextend yourself. Because you get some situations, somebody have a good product and all of a sudden they might get an investment or something, somebody try to get into it and they expand it, but it goes beyond, they hadn't developed a community for it. And I've talked about that several times. You got to make sure there's people to buy it. You got to make sure there's people to buy it. Like when I was expanding my publishing company back in the day, I wasn't trying to hit every store in America. I just took my time. Started with local stores, was able to hook up with some stores out of town, and that was just my personal distribution network. Then eventually got with a couple of distributors, and they expanded. But I just took my time. I didn't rush, because sometimes people rush the product and they'll say, "Oh, people gonna buy it." It's like they don't know you. You have to develop a reputation. People need to use it. People need to give you feedback on it. Like anything, just take your time. The best businesses, they don't rush. You notice they just take their time. They take their time. Slutty Vegan and Elife restaurants, 2 vegan restaurants. That's what they did. And that's how you do it. You just take your time. Don't rush. All right? So anyway, that's all I got for today. Let's go make that money.